How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Blade Runner Black Lotus, the animated series from Adult Swim and Crunchyroll. This is Season 1, Episode 11, and this one's entitled All the Best Memories. This is from January 22nd/23rd, 2022, and is once again directed by series creators Kenji Kamiyama and Shinji Aramaki. And once again, we start Jessica Henwick as Elle, but this time around, not just Elle, but also Water Lilly. More on that in a little bit. But anyway, this is sort of the prologue to the end. This episode sets up the last two episodes. It really promises a nice action-heavy episode 12, and we're seeing the plot move at a pretty steady pace towards the end. Lots of cool stuff are happening, and basically the mystery is all resolved by this point. We know the entirety of the what, but now we have to ask what's going to happen because of it, you know? So I do like that the mystery is all resolved, and I do like seeing us move towards the end, and I'm wondering, okay, she has to fight Water Lily, but what's going to happen when she fights Niander Wallace Jr.? Is it going to be a mental battle? Is he going to pull out a replicant army? Will the last episode be more philosophy or more action, you know? So I am kind of curious how this will all end, you know? So I am looking forward to the last two episodes. This series really has grown on me, and I really do want to see how Season 1 ends. And yeah, it's pretty cool. That being said, I do have some issues with this episode. Some of the plot revelations leaves me wondering about a few things. But also Ellie makes a decision that is kind of rash. Now that being said, Ellie, looking back, is kind of an impulsive character. So I guess it makes sense, but we'll get more into this decision in a minute. But anyway, a cool episode, a few problems, but definitely the prologue to the end, and I'm really excited for the finale. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few of the plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the episode's about. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We open up with Joseph on the phone, and it turns out he was talking to Niander Wallace Jr. That was the big twist at the end of the last episode. Joseph, since the beginning of the show, has been working for him, and it turns out Niander Wallace Jr.'s whole endgame was to kill his father. It wasn't happenstantial. That was the point. Now, if we look all the way back to like the beginning part of this series, the police chief's wife does say, how do you know your memories weren't manipulated to make you become an assassin? And when she said this, she was trying to imply that the doll hunt wasn't real. And the doll hunt was real, but she was half right. It does turn out that she was manipulated to be an assassin. But that being said, the people that she went after did legitimately wrong her. Basically, Niander Wallace knew, I want to get revenge on my father. I want his power, but I don't want to get my own hands dirty. But he's about to wrong these replicants here. So what if I give one of the replicants an opportunity to get revenge for itself? Sort of the enemy of my enemy. But that being said, she didn't know that he wanted her to do this, you know? So didn't try to prevent the doll hunt, but said, this is going to make you very mad. What if I gave you the opportunity to get revenge, you know? So that's sort of what was going on there. Now, this also says Joseph was working for him the whole time, and that's why Ellie at the beginning of the show knew to go to the address. You know, she's like, I feel the need to go to this address. I don't know why. Did I used to live there? No, that was one of the implanted memories to ensure that Joseph and Ellie met, and Joseph could help her out on this mission. Now, why Joseph was a big help, this plot twist doesn't necessarily make 100% sense. Joseph has been constantly trying to get her not to do this, and that being said, it may be Joseph just second-guessing himself, wanting to do the right thing, and even though he was paid to do the opposite, maybe he's just being a really good guy. This could also have been him acting to avoid suspicion, but I don't think so. Or this even could have been Niander Wallace saying, hey, really push her and test her resolve, I want to see what my memories are doing. But I think it was just Joseph trying to be a good guy. Also, why did it take him so long to unlock the data tablet? Well, I guess it didn't belong to Niander Wallace Jr., so he would have had to get it in there anyway. But he did know what was on it. But anyway, it's kind of weird to see how reluctant Joseph was to send Ellie on this quest, especially when we find out he was paid to do that. But I guess even though he was paid, he didn't really want to do it, you know, so I guess that does kind of make sense. After this phone call, we do get a little bit with Niander Wallace Jr. and Water Lilly, and they're talking, and he's definitely going into full villain mode. He's talking about humanity has failed, they caused the Earth to be a big wreck, and now everyone's starving if it wasn't for him. And he says that he wants to get rid of the old human world and replace it with a replicant world of his design. So he wants to recreate the Earth. He thinks replicants will be better, and they'll avoid the mistakes of man. And of course, he'll be ruler of this new Earth, so really going into big supervillain territory there, you know? So yeah, he's definitely revealed to be the big bad of the series. He's in a room with all these big green tubes, and there's little tiny dots in there, and I'm guessing these little dots are fertilized replicant eggs. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, there's a bunch of tubes with these little tiny dots in them. Also there is Water Lilly. Now, it doesn't say her name in the show, I don't think, but if you go to the end credits, you can find her character name there. I was thinking she would just be White Lotus, but I guess we're going for a different type of flower each time. So she's Water Lilly, and she is played by Jessica Henwick as well. She's sort of the new model of Elle. They look very similar except for the hair, and of course the way they act. But yeah, same voice actress. Also the same motion capture artist, which I thought was cool that I'd keep the characters at the right height and the right type of movements. I'm really wondering how the two are gonna fight if they have the same motion capture artist. Maybe they'll bring in a second one for the next episode, I don't know. But anyway, she's standing there, and you see this model is much more obedient, much more robotic, and I am kind of wondering, you know, how will her personality change and evolve? We are definitely hinting at a big fight between these two characters, and it will be kind of interesting to see, you know, character versus self, but in this different, unique light. And I am kind of wondering if that will make Ellie question, like, hey, should I really fight her if she is me and someone literally in the same situation? But it may just turn into a big fight, I don't know. But yeah, she's an interesting character. Not really done much with her yet, but I'm thinking big finale piece, and we'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, back with Ellie and Joseph, they start to talk about the Memory Maker, and it seems like he's done pretty well for himself after his boss died, you know, the guy with the big nerd glasses. And they go to talk to him, and at first Ellie says, I want to go there, have him look at my memories, and see if we can find my boyfriend. Joseph still hasn't told her who her boyfriend is, and that's kind of weird that she doesn't know, because once they have his face, like, Niander Wallace Jr. has been all over the news lately. He's taken over a big corporation. His father just died. if Ellie just watched the TV a little more, she would know who this guy is. But for whatever reason, she's not been watching the news. She doesn't know yet. So they go to the memory maker, and Joseph brings up this different idea. He says, hey, look, you've been having night terrors. Remember in the last episode when she woke up screaming, thinking about the events of the series and the doll hunt and stuff? He says, replicants have perfect memories. They can never forget or dull them. These things are going to haunt you forever, and it's not often that we get to talk to a memory maker. How about, instead of finding your boyfriend, we erase all of your memories so that you can live in peace? And it is kind of weird because she was all gung-ho for finding her boyfriend. She was really wanting to do this. And then in this episode, she's like, yeah, no, we don't have to do that. Let's go ahead and get my memories erased. So she kind of makes an impulsive decision to do this. And, you know, I guess in retrospect, Ellie is a pretty impulsive character. But it did seem like a pretty quick and rash decision. I'm like, do you really want to do this? But anyway, the memory maker says, I can erase your memories, but I can't pick and choose. I can't just get rid of the bad ones. I will have to erase everything. And Ellie agrees to do this on two things. One, the memory maker says, it'll still be you. Like, we're getting rid of the memories, but not the part that makes decisions, and you'll still be the same personality, you'll still be the same person, but without your memories. And the second thing that gets her to agree is that Joseph promises to be there when she wakes up. Now, Joseph makes this promise, but he's going to go back on it once she's in the tube and it starts filling with gas, because you see, Nyander Wallace Jr. said, the last part of your mission, you have to retire Ellie. And he says, instead of retiring her, I'm just going to abandon her and say that I did. So he leaves and abandons Ellie. And that's sort of where I'll leave you guys. Obviously, more happens at the end, but I don't want to spoil any of it. But yeah, a pretty interesting episode, setting up for the finale, big dramatic moments. Ellie's decision, I did feel was a little rash. You know, it's like, we all had this thing, gonna go find the boyfriend, gonna do this. You know, she even said, what if there's something bad, like he didn't come to get me because he couldn't have? You know, this idea that what she thinks in her head is that that's her boyfriend who might be in trouble, but then just goes, yeah, no, screw it all, let's erase my memories. I did think that was a little rash and overly dramatic, but that being said, we are moving in towards the end, things gotta be big and crazy, and it did lead to some interesting moments, and overall, you know, there are definite flaws with this episode, but this episode really does act as the prologue to the end, and it sets up a whole lot. We know the entire mystery now. I did like to finally just lay that all down and get everything clear, and we are moving into the end, and the end does look to be a pretty solid 2 episodes, and I really can't wait for that. So definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, flaws with this episode, yeah, but it still is moving in a cool direction. We do have all that plot finally laid out for us, so time to see what happens next. Anyway, this show really is one that's grown on me over the episodes, and I really am curious to see how it ends, and only 2 more episodes left. Pretty excited for that. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching, and to everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see more, you can click right there and see more. This should be my Blade Runner playlist, so if you want to see my reviews for all the past episodes, you can find them there. And also my reviews for a lot of the Blade Runner comics, and the original movie, and Kurt Russell and Soldier. There's a lot of stuff in the Blade Runner playlist, so if you want to see me talk about more Blade Runner, you can find it there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.